I know it's past 4:13, but I've been wanting to play this for a very long time, so I'm just going to play it right now. This is my very first time, playing the friendsim. Bought it a little while back while it was on sale. So I have all the routes. I don't know where to begin, but I am kind of drawn to the clowns here. I mean, Marvis is kind of hot, but it's not a dating sim, it's a friend sim. And I kind of want more than a friend, you know? I think I'm gonna go with this little guy. He seems pretty cute. Wait, was that trolling the NBs? I think they are. Oh yeah, he is male. I know there are some non-binary trolls, but I wasn't sure if he was one of them. I mean, he could still be one. Okay, he's non-binary to me now. And you can't sway my opinion on that. Oh, I haven't been reading this text. You're convinced that after a day of here, Ayn Rand would sign up with the Little Sisters of the Poor, Genghis Khan and Attila the Hun would join the... Okay, yeah, this is definitely hussy writing right here. I can definitely tell that we're in good hands here. Alright, little karako, we're becoming friends today. Having learned the dangers of using the public thoroughfares, you've taken to dodging down byways and skulking in rear areas, trying to spy out individuals who look ripe for friendship while avoiding more criminally insane denizens. You mean the entirety of Alternia, right? Just now you're following a winding footpath through the undergrowth surrounding a neighborhood where the local hives are spaced far apart. Humph. You came creeping along this footpath for safety. You should have known better. The undergrowth here is like most of the other life forms on Alternia, evolved to ruthlessly purge the gene pool of the weak and the reasonable. Sounds beautiful, who wouldn't want to live here? Cloud spring-loaded stalks with foot-long thorns, flank writhing bushes with razor-edged leaves, which in turn crowd tentacled flora with toothed lobes oozing liquid that hisses and smokes when it touches the ground. Lovely imagery right here. Extreme caution is needed, just as it's needed in every circumstance of this planet. While your time on Alternia has gotten you accustomed to injuries, you still shrink from being impaled on sprung thorns and dissolved in acid. You should have known that eventually you would have to come up against the local flora, so you proceeded discreetly, avoiding poison fronds and trying not to step on trigger roots. But suddenly your vegetative focus is interrupted. You hear footsteps on the path, and then around the corner comes a small figure. Oh, I heard a honk. Its face with smudged black and white stripes. Despite its diminutive physique, it has some of the most impressive horns you've seen on any troll. I didn't notice the horns are different colors from what they usually are. I like that he's lock and loaded with Fago. Whoa. Then the small figure sees you too. It is so startled it jumps a foot, impaling its horns in an overhanging tree branch, and sticking there so that its small legs pump helplessly in the air. Oh, we need to help him. Honk. You begged the small person's pardon, and assure him that you were fully as startled as he. Oh, I have a bicycle horn right now, but it's like 12 AM and I have people asleep, and I don't think they'd appreciate me honking this thing. Especially with how loud that shit is. Well, I'll just edit in the honks and editing. It won't be too big of an issue. You go on to explain that you are not dangerous, but that even if you were, you would not want to come to strife with even a small person with horns of that size. To be fair, I wouldn't want to strife with any purple blood. Honk. Yes, you'll be happy to help him down as long as he promises not to attack you with the many bladed weapons that are stuffed into his belt. Or with dozens of cans of inexpensive soft drink held in bandoliers across his chest. It strikes you suddenly that a neighborly gesture like helping someone whose horns are stuck in a tree branch can scarcely fail to kindle the light of friendship. You dare to hope that this will be the case now. Yes, become my clown friend. Edging forward, you get close enough to see that around the small clown's neck hangs a dog tag or ID necklace. You tilt your head and crane your neck to read the writing on it. Oh, I won't be able to read it, it's another language. Oh wait, yeah, we can read it. Karako Piero. If laws call Bronya Ursama. Suddenly this all makes sense. Karako Piero must have been one of Bronya's reject grunt burglars, who, having grown to childhood under her tender care, has gone out into the world to seek his fortune. Oh, I guess this should have been a sign that I read the other volumes first. Whatever. I'll get to it eventually. You eagerly pull out your palm husk, happy for an excuse to pester your old friend, but you've got zero signal out here. Oh, I gotta do it myself, man! Help the little guy out! Honk. You apologize for the delay, explaining that you were surprised to find that you appear to have an acquaintance in common, whom you hope you will have time to discuss later. For now, you are ready, willing, and hopefully able to help him down. You hope he won't be offended if you slip behind him first. It's not that you object to bladed weapons or those who stuff dozens of them in their belts, but you feel that the ones he's wearing could ruin your look if buried in your torso. However, unintentionally. Yeah, unintentionally for sure. You edge past the weapons, being careful also not to touch the spring thorns growing at the edge of the path, or their trigger roots. Aw, there you go. I like this gold tooth. Very, very cool. Once you're behind Karako, you grasp his horns firmly and pull, withdrawing them from the tree branch and allowing him to drop lightly to the ground. Honk. Is this his quirks? He can only speak in honks. You tell him that he's very welcome. Then there's an awkward moment of silence as you try to think of something else to say. Fortunately, your new potential friend is not as devoid of the social graces as you are, and gets a conversational ball rolling himself. Honk. Oh, I like him already. He's one of the coolest clowns ever. You explain that you're indeed a stranger in these parts, and that you actually don't fit into any of the hemospectrum categories. Wild, right? Yeah, that's crazy. Although not quite as strange as you used to be, you like to think. You're really starting to blend in with the local color. Yeah, sure. Honk. Well, you'd rather not exhibit your blood just now. There are a couple of quirks though, due to the robust conditions of life on Eternia, some of which you have recently had the honor of encountering. I can only imagine. Sad Honk. You sympathize. Slinking along these hidden paths in the Eternia woods can be tough on the morale. The smell alone is enough to make strong men weep, and the vegetation looks like it was designed by the Marquis de Sade. Not that you know who the Marquis de Sade is. That is one crazy comparison right there. You can't help but feel that it would be so much better if one only had a skulk buddy. You continue. How wonderful it would be to travel these dusky lanes with a kindred spirit, a twin soul, a fellow traveler, an intimate crony. You're such an expert on friend sentiments now. Well, that's great because this is the very first time I am playing this game. Honk? No, you haven't met anyone like that either, but you would certainly like to. Your new potential friend is obviously thinking seriously about this issue, so you back off, give him space. You pretend to be deeply immersed in studying one of the razor-sharp leaves on one of the writhing bushes beside the path. You aren't one to force yourself on others, or try to unduly influence their friendship decisions. Yeah, we're not like those cerulean bloods, we're much better than them. Okay, well, maybe you forced yourself on others in the past, and tried to influence their friendship decisions. Maybe you've even done this a lot, but you've recently evolved as a person. Well, maybe not. Maybe you'd stay the same. Maybe we're going to force this mother honker into being our friend. You now know that friendship is something that has to come authentically from within. Friendship is spontaneous. Real friendship sprouts naturally, from the soil of mutual respect. The best friendships grow and ripen over years, and are not rushed or forced. Of course, you've only known this small person for about 5 minutes, but you have to start ripening sometime. Please God, I hope this means he's our friend now. You're reflecting thus on the theme of friendship when a loud sizzle pours suddenly from the sky above you. It's a crackling, sizzling sound, like a kitchen is stained with too many legs, struggling in a hot frying pan. Wow, sounds like fun times are ahead of us. Karako jumps so violently that he nearly gets his horn stuck in the tree again. Looking up, you see a floating metal object, vaguely troll-shaped, but a huge, faceless metal, and with numerous sets of lightning bolt-shaped horns coming out of its head and neck. It's also not a very sparkling conversationalist. It remarks in a flat, echoing blare. It elaborates further. Honk? Startled honk? I'm gonna leap to his aid. You leap to your proto-friend's aid. Thinking quickly, you push Karako against a large rock that juts out of the undergrowth nearby and jump in front of him, shielding him from the drone with your body. You then pretend to be leaning against the rock in an attitude of tranquil repose. Several of the bladed weapons in Karako's belt poke you in the ass, but you don't let this show on your face. Instead, you yawn elaborately and check your wristwatch. You don't have a wristwatch, but you don't think drones know what a wristwatch is anyways. You pretend to smoke a non-existent cigarette. Again, you're not giving anything away, because drones don't know what cigarettes are either. Nice, nice. This is very nice. Amazing writing. But the drone has apparently taken an interest in you. It floats down between the trees and undergrowth, and hovers above the path several meters from where you're pretending to relax against a rock after a long day of hiking through scenic shit-smell forest. It's quite a terrifying sight, actually. Skirshizzle, the drone observes soullessly, making Karako jump so that several of your internal organs are threatened. However, you maintain what you believe the local populace would call a stiff upper whistle pillow. I am not going to ask what that means. I already have an idea. The drone's black metal head steadies you, or it could be steadying something in the opposite direction, or even taking the drone equivalent of a piss. You can't really tell from its expression, because it has no features to make expressions with. Damn. This examination, or non-examination, continues for some time. But your diminutive potential friend is well hidden from view, and after a while, evidently concluding that you are an inanimate object that makes unaccountable gestures with its wrists and fingers, the drone floats upward again, gaining speed, until, with a duration, it whizzes off somewhere to find other hapless, non-standard citizens to euthanize. Wow, that's beautiful. When it's gone, you stand away from the rock, and rub several sore places that have been pierced by bladed weapons. Ouchie. You turn to Karako to comment on the recent favor, but stopping you see the look he is directing at you. A warm and admiring look, an affectionate and esteeming look, a look of friendship. Your first impulse is to throw your arms around him and lean in, but on second thought, remembering his pants arsenal, you put out your hand for a warm handshake. Victory is so close. I'm sure getting stabbed is worth a hug. But before you can seal the deal in this sweet friendship transaction, you hear a disturbance further down the path. God, get the narrative chill for one single minute? Especially in a moment when you're about to consummate a beautiful friendship? You turn to look. The footsteps, several sets of them, get nearer, and around the bend come three figures. Three figures wearing swimming outfits, lots of gold jewelry, and insouciant expressions. Three figures with gills on their necks and small, stylized fins on their face. That is not a good sign. Oh man, is it possible that you finally happened upon a group of the legendary siege dwellers? Oh no, if I were you, I would get away from them. They stop short when they see you and Karako, obviously startled. They steady you. You steady them. Then Fithead Interloper 1, in a one-piece and diamond earrings, whispers to her companions, and all three burst out laughing. Hey, what is that all about? Finhead Interloper 2, in a violet wetsuit and rings, slaps her thigh, and Finhead Interloper 3, in checkered swimming trunks, holds its sides. Why are they laughing at us? Oh wait, oh yeah, it's because I'm hanging out with the clown, aren't I? Part of you is relieved. Laughter brings out the devil, is the best medicine, and in any event is better than homicidal mania. You can say that again. On the other hand, this laughter isn't friendly. It's cold, mocking, it's superstitious. These sea dwellers are obviously laughing at you, not with you. You notice Karako's cheeks flushing purple underneath his face paint, and his jaws clenching. However, he just stares with stony dignity at the interlopers. This just makes them laugh harder. Come on man, let out your clown rage! Kill those sea dwellers! The first sea dweller says, "What are you two supposed to be?" Shrimp Cassidy and a Squamous Kid, says our second companion. A cool bait minnow and his mutated soft-shelled crab, says our third. Wow, what a bunch of assholes. Looks like the minimal one went down on the clown, causing it to spurt out the other one. Jesus Christ! The sea dweller's laughter is redoubled. You continue expressionless at these insults, but to your dismay, Karako's face has taken on a harsh, glowering look. You guess that such a tiny dude has probably been victimized by bullies his whole life. And, as you happen to know, there are no bullies like Alternian bullies. Honk. You tell him to let them talk all the shit they want. Don't let them provoke him. They're trying to get him to do something stupid. If he doesn't react, they'll get bored and go away. I highly doubt they'll get bored and go away. No, remember that drone is probably still around here somewhere. Touch a skill in their heads and you could be rendered into mother grub feedstock. Hey, bottom feeders, no whispering when you're in the presence of your bathers. And you, little buoy, put a respectful expression on your recognition surface. Be more like your friend, the slender manatee over there. In fact, why is it you two are still perpendicular? In the presence of sea dwellers, you should be bound at right anglers. On God, these puns are going to drive me insane. Can we kill them already? You balance to the sea dwellers. You have your dignity, but you also like not getting killed. Uh-oh. Karako remains stubbornly upright, his face getting angrier and purpler by the moment. The bladed weapons in his belt jingle from his enraged trembling. Oh, see the little clownfish? He's getting angry. I'm not even mad about the mockery, I'm just annoyed by all these annoying puns. I hope he exacts clown justice on them. What did I tell you about your face, boy? Didn't your Lucis teach you anything? I doubt he even has a Lucis. A self-respecting Lucis would never let a shrimp like that out of the hive. Unless his Lucis is just as defective. God damn! The Lucis cracks are too much for Karako. Ignoring your hissed warnings, he suddenly leaps snarling into the air, draws bladed weapons from his belt in each hand, and hurtles toward the sea dwellers. Honk honk. Yeah, kill them! Hell yeah, I'm leaping into the fray and lending comfort and support. You leap into the fray to lend comfort and support. You would have counseled Karako to turn the other cheek and keep turning cheek after cheek until the sea dwellers got fed up and went away, but now things have hotted up. You're not about to let down this side. Hell yeah! Karako crashes into the sea dwellers, his bladed weapons rolling like a blender. You scamper close behind him and kick someone in the shin. It hurts your foot, but doesn't seem to have any other effect. Wow, this is pretty gory. These sea dwellers are made of tough stuff, or you're extremely flimsy. Yeah, I'd say we're pretty flimsy compared to the trolls. Your next sortie is more effective, however. Thinking quickly, you pick up a rock and throw it at the trigger root of a spring thorn growing along the path to where the violet bloods are enduring Hurricane Clown. The coiled stalk springs out, impaling the dude with the dozen-foot-long thorns. God damn! He's thrown off balance, and violet blood begins to flow copiously down his body. That's a hue you haven't seen before. Kind of pretty. That is gruesome. But these sea dwellers are made of tough stuff. He yanks the spring thorn stalk away from him, pulling the thorns out, and flings it into the woods. Then he takes out a pocket handkerchief and starts patting his injuries gently. Wow, sounds like we need a chainsaw. Meanwhile, Karako's bladed weapons have not been idle, and the other two sea dwellers are likewise leaking violet blood. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Look at that blood splatter right there. But these bastards are hard to kill. You remember Polypa telling you that. As you watch, one of them grabs one of the bladed weapons from Karako's hand and buries it in Karako's stomach. Oh no, Karako! This, unsurprisingly, is distracting for a poor little clown, allowing two of the finny sons of bitches to grab handfuls of bladed weapons from his belt and bury them in... Oh no, is he gonna... No, don't let my little buddy die! Karako is still waving his weapons, but he seems to be waving them more slowly now. More and more bladed weapons are buried in his body. He seems to lose focus. The weapon he's been brandishing fall from his hands. Oh, did he die? Oh man, I gotta go back from the beginning. Guess we're going for this selection. You leap forward and grab Karako by the coattails, or by his belt. You aren't actually sure what a coattail is. Jesus, he's strong. You can barely hold him. It's like trying to restrain a small truck. His legs rotate wildly, kicking up a cloud of dust, and he brandishes his bladed weapons wildly in the direction of the sea dwellers. After a startled moment in which they jump backward, the sea dwellers have started to laugh again, coming up with more stupid insults and fish puns. Even though that first choice was the wrong one, it was very cathartic. This is not helping. Karako runs twice as hard, honks twice as loud, shakes his weapons twice as threateningly. Hey, you shout at Karako, trying to be heard above the fracas, holding on with all your might and digging in your heels. You have half a mind to just let them go, to pay the sea dwellers back for their insults. But you try to keep a cool head. You're doing your proto-friend much more good trying to restrain his wrath. You've now succeeded in wrapping your arms all the way around him, and now you get in front of him, holding them back with straight arms, bellowing soothingly into his face, and trying to avoid the bladed weapons that he is brandishing. But it's not working! You see from the contorted features, the bare teeth, the distended nostrils, the smoke coming out, the blazing eyes, that Karako is getting more and more enraged. And suddenly, his rage seems to reach a kindling point. His body vibrates violently, his eyes grow huge and round. And suddenly from his body, something like a nuclear blast pressure wave of fear and violence sends you flying through the air like a scrap of paper in a gale. What the fuck? Are you hallucinating? But you can see as you soar up above the path that the sea dwellers aren't laughing anymore. In fact, they're screaming in terror and fleeing wildly, blundering into razor leads, being impaled by spring thorns and burned by pod acid, and generally receiving the stern retribution that awaits assholes. Okay, yeah, I changed my mind. This option is better than the other one from earlier. Then your head collides with a tree branch, and you are rendered unable to narrate for a while. Silence. Oh hey Karako, what's up little buddy? You wake up lying in the dust. A consciousness returns. You realize that you're lying on the path, and as it returns further, that a small clown-painted figure is seated next to you, quite calm now. He smiles fondly as he sees you sit up. Aww, honk! You smile in return. You express relief that he realizes that you are acting in his best interest, holding him back from the thin heads. And now, though largely because of his unexpected burst of clown sorcery, or whatever that was, everything has turned out for the best. Alright! Karako holds up his arms for a hug, but then remembering the bladed weapons in his belt, sticks out his hand. You shake it warmly. We will get that hug later. Aww. Ain't that the cutest thing? Well, that was a good route. Suddenly I feel like making more friends, but I think that's all the time we have for now. If I don't play this in the near future, I'll definitely be playing this again next year. And I will promise you on that. That is unless hiveswap Act 3 comes out, but I don't think that's going to be happening, so see ya.